unshakable. And this is all about discovering peace during turbulent times. And I believe that before I get through it, that you would probably think of 3 people that you could tag who you feel would benefit from today's conversation. So I want you to pay close attention, people of God, as we walk through the scriptures together. Unshakable. I see y'all in the comments section and I love it. Unshakable. Thank you, Steffi. Appreciate you dropping that nugget in the comments section. Family, I'm going to read a passage of scripture, and I want you to listen carefully as I read it. And the reason I want you to listen carefully while I read it, because I'm going to ask you one question to see if you were paying attention. Okay? Now, my prayer team already know I'm getting ready to go with this. So prayer team who was on our prayer call this morning at 7:30, you sit this one out. You are exempt. You cannot answer and mess it up. I'm going to read a passage of scripture. So digital pastors, help me out. Matthew chapter 8, verse 23 through 27. Matthew 8, verse 23 through 27. And it reads as such. Y'all ready? It says, "Then he got into the boat, and his disciples followed him. Suddenly, a furious storm came up on the lake, so that the waves swept over the boat, but Jesus was sleeping." My God. Verse 25. The disciples went and woke him, saying, "Lord, save us. We're going to drown." Verse 26. This is Jesus. He replied, "You of little faith, why are you so afraid?" Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. Verse 27, and I conclude. The men were amazed and asked, "What kind of man is this? Even the waves obey him." Question. What is the common theme or lesson in the story I just read? Come on, I'm gonna want to make sure that you catch this. Drop it in the comments section. Now, leaders, y'all can't answer this because we were talking about this morning. What is the common thread, the common theme in regards to this passage? Man, I'm going to put some of them here on the screen. Lyndon, he says, trust him. That's good, brother. We're going to stick a pin right there. So we have trust him. Tasha says that he did it suddenly. You're right. Both of you all are right. But we're looking for something. Shantae says, faith. All right. Anna says, have faith. This is good, you all. I love that you were listening as we read the story. Now, Dorothy, she's coming along. She said the same thing, faith. You all presented facts. And these facts are truth. But I want to dig a little deeper. Connie says, trust. Okay, factual and actual. And I want you all to know that there are no wrong answers right here. You all are right on where we need to be. But could I just go ahead and cut across the yard? Irene says, unshakable faith. We're getting there. All right? Y'all ready for this? Digital pastors, I want you to help me out. I want you to help me out on this one because the conversation is about to get real good. Y'all ready for this? Karen says, Jesus was with them all the time. Oh my God. Oh, I'm going to circle back to that because there are some actual facts that you stated that I'm going to pin on to the main meat of it. Ooh, this is so good. Karen says, obey. I love that. Dorothy says, Jesus Christ can do it all. Y'all are on it. Y'all must be a part of Mars Hill anywhere. Dr. Stewart says they didn't really. Oh my God. Y'all taking this into ways that I could not have even imagined. They must not have. And we're going to get to that in the story. Y'all ready for this? All that you all stated are both actual and factual. But here's the nitty gritty of it. And I want you to catch this. Come on, digital pastors, we about to have a little fun. These were the people who were closest to Jesus. The people who intimately knew Jesus, or as Dr. Stewart put it, maybe they really didn't know their teacher. They walked with him. They talked with him. They dined with him. They saw the miracles. They saw all of the things that solidified Christ's position. But here's what they all had in common. Even in the midst of their intimacy and proximity, all of them were in a storm. Y'all catch me. These were the people who were close to Jesus, had proximity to Jesus, and had intimacy with Jesus, but yet found themselves in the midst of a storm. That's right. They were all in the same storm. I'm coming back to this, you all, so y'all gonna have to stay with me. Are y'all gonna stay with me? Y'all gonna let me tell the story? Man, watch this, you all. Watch this, because I want you to get this. I want you to not miss where I'm getting ready to go with this, because this passage in Matthew 18 is quite crucial. It's quite pivotal. And the reason it's pivotal because we need to understand something about this text. Now, these men who were on the boat with Jesus were resilient. These men who were on the boat with Jesus were expert fishermen. These men who were on the boat with Jesus knew how to navigate tricky waters. They knew how to handle storms. They knew how to handle all of the things that were going on in the lives of what it comes to when it relates to water, but yet they're terrified. So evidently, this was a type of storm that they had never seen before, a type of storm that they had never experienced before, and they found themselves scared. Had proximity to Jesus, intimacy with Jesus, understood the terrain in which they were in, but yet they were afraid and found themselves in the same storm. Now, before I came to tell you what I came to tell you, because I'm only tell you one thing, and that one thing is going to bless you. Now, in this passage, I need to give you a little meat. It's essential to know that the Sea of Galilee was significant in the region of Galilee. Fishing, common occupation. So these men understood the water, they understood the fish, but yet this passage wants you to think on a broader context, to look at Jesus' ministry in a different light. And they're trying to get us to understand that through the miracles he performed, healing of the sick, casting out demons, raising the dead, that Jesus has power and authority over everything. Stay with me. Let me give you a little bit more context. Now, in this story, Matthew 8, verses 23 through 27, he's calming the storm in order to highlight, I have control over nature. They saw him have control over people, but they never seen him have control over nature. So it's like they had seen him at his best until he came and showed them something even greater. And so he's now solidifying that I've got divine power, the ability to bring about peace in the midst of chaos and safety in the midst of whatever storm that you find yourselves in. Now watch this. He's letting them know that if you thought I had authority, you just saw it in one category. Did y'all catch that? Because evidently, they knew he did the people thing right, the miracles, the feeding of the 5,000, healing of the sick, raising of the dead. That was just a categorical miracle. So now Jesus is saying, y'all still don't know who I am. I'm about to flip the switch on y'all. And you can have proximity to me, intimacy with me, but yet still miss the message about me. Let's get in the boat and let's go to the other side. I'm going to take you in a space and a place that you are familiar, that you're an expert. And I'm going to watch you fold like a deck of cards. So the intimacy and the proximity and the visibility with Jesus did nothing for them because he's on their terrain. They said, no, we know you do people, but what about this storm? And so Jesus said, I'm going to take a nap. Once I take this nap, we'll get to the other side, because that's what he said. Let's go to the other side. They forgot all about that in their terrain, and they missed it. So can I go ahead on and land the plane, you all? I'm going to go ahead and land the plane, tell you what I came to tell you, all right? Don't miss this, don't miss this. I'm surprised you ain't tagged a few people on this already. I'm surprised you ain't tagged a few people. Now here it is. I'm about to land the plane. Watch this. He took them to their place of comfort. Thank you, Reverend T-Mo. And he made them uncomfortable. Intimacy with Jesus, proximity to Jesus, and the visibility of Jesus does not exempt us from storms. Teach, Clarence Edward. Did y'all hear that? You can be visibly walking with Jesus, practicing intimacy through reading of the word with Jesus, and have proximity to Jesus, but it does not exempt us from life's storms. And usually, the scariest storms occur in the places where we're most secure. Teach Clarence Edward. He rocked them at their strength, not their weakness. And so I came to tell you one thing today. And I want you to chew on this one thing. Watch this. Y'all ready? You might be in the middle of a storm, but the storm is not in you. Teach Clarence Edward. You might be in the middle of a storm, but the storm is not in you. And it hit you at the place where you thought that you were not going to fold, not going to fail. Storms, Anna, are inevitable. So it's best to have a plan when you face them. They come in different shapes, different sizes, testing our faith, testing our resilience. That's right, you might be in the middle of a storm, but the storm is not in you. Teach it, Clarence Edward. Being in a storm doesn't mean that storm has to be in you. You can be in the midst of chaos, but yet still be peaceful on the inside. This peace comes from understanding that we're much stronger than we realize. Comes from an understanding that we're more stable than we can ever recognize. It comes from an understanding, you all, that we may not control our circumstances, but we can control how we will respond to them. Jesus is on the boat, yet they're still scared. Had proximity to Jesus, visibility of Jesus, but yet still allowed fear to control their circumstances. That's why Jesus says, "What's up with y'all? Storm is out there, but I'm right here." And to show you that I am who I am, winds be still. Immediately the storm stops. Then they begin to understand that Jesus is exactly who he says that he is. See, when we choose to trust in something greater than ourselves, we can tap into that strength that allows us to weather life's storms that rage on the outside. That's right. That's right, Brandy. You can be in the middle of a storm, but the storm is not in you. Let me go ahead on and land the plane. All right? Now, that's all I came to tell you, but here's what I want you to do. Digital passers, drop this in the comment section. 2 words, take control. Take control. I'm going to show you how. Take control. Last 3 minutes. Take control. Take control. The storm is around you, but not within you. What does that mean? See, that means first and foremost, I acknowledge the storm. It's there. Storm may be a wayward child. Storm may be a crazy coworker. Storm may be a financial anchor. So I know there's a storm around me, but the storm is not within me. So I'm taking control. I'm acknowledging that there is a storm. Not sticking my head in the mud and say, "God, fix it. Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus, be a fix." No. Storm is all around me. I can see the winds of adversity that are blowing. It's all around me, but I acknowledge it. I accept the fact that this storm is difficult. I accept the fact that it's challenging. I accept the fact that it's messing with my mind. I'm overwhelmed. The storm is around me, but not within me. So I'm acknowledging that. Here's the second key. Here it is. Y'all ready? When you take control, that means that you shift your perspective. Shift your perspective. Look at what Jesus says. They woke him in verse 25. Lord, save us, we're going to drown. He replied, oh, ye of little faith. You've got to change your perspective. You've got to change your mindset. You've got to look at this thing from a whole different perspective instead of seeing it, and that's the storm, as an intruder that upsets your peace. View it as an opportunity to allow your faith to grow. Ooh, teach Clarence Edward. I'm doing the best that I can. Shift my perspective. And I've got to ask myself, there's got to be an opportunity in the storm, because one man saw a storm, but another man saw umbrella. So he invents the umbrella in order to keep the elements off of the people. There's got to be an opportunity in the midst of the storm. Allows you to gain a greater perspective, greater appreciation, a greater understanding of the power of God. That's right. Shift my perspective, Lord. Because that storm is raging around me, but that storm is not raging in me. And then you've got to anchor yourself in faith. Jesus says, oh, ye of little faith, anchor yourself in faith. Just like a rock in the midst of a storm, you anchor yourself to faith. Jesus is with you in the midst of the storm. Storm is outside of the boat, but Jesus is in the boat. So I'm going to ask you a question. How are you going to respond when life's storm rages? I'm responding in faith. I'm responding with resilience. I'm going to respond to this storm not out of fear or anxiety, no. And I want you to ask me the question, why? You've got to change your perspective. Shift it. Anchor yourself in faith. Can I tell y'all why? Before I head out to my family reunion, picnic, I'm going to read one more passage and I'm out. Deuces, I promise. Isaiah 43. In verse 2, it says, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. Y'all ready for this? I'm going to tell you why. You anchor yourself in faith, choose how you're going to respond, shift your perspective, and acknowledge that, yep, there's a storm raging. Y'all ready for this? Because it made me shout when I wrote it. Y'all ready for this? Come on, let me know. Here it is. Reverend T. Mo, you already beat me to the punch. He says, why, Bishop? Here it is. Y'all ready? Every storm runs out of rain. Woo! Every storm eventually runs out of rain. It's got to end at some point. This morning, I went outside on my deck and I started taking off all the patio furniture covers. I'm looking up in the sky, man, not a cloud in the sky, sun is shining. But just a few days ago, how many of y'all remember in the Chicagoland area, storms ran through? So one day I had to rush and scurry and cover up the furniture because some of it got wet and I kept it covered. But I waited and waited. Looking up in the sky, waited again. Looking up in the sky, waited again, because it dawns on me. Eventually, every storm runs out of rain. The pounding will cease. The clouds will part. The sun will shine again. And if we look around, might even catch a rainbow. Every storm runs out of rain. Chew on that. And I guarantee you, it'll bless you like you've never been blessed before. Now, I'm not saying that the storm won't leave damage, because there might be floods, there might be some branches down, there might be some windows blown out, but every storm runs out of rain. Thank you for your time today, man. I told you was gonna have to share this with somebody, man. Make sure you let them know. Make sure you let someone in your family know. Make sure you let someone you know who's going through a tough time right now. Let them know. Every storm runs out of rain. And I'm here to tell you, as I go through my own personal storms, the sun will shine again. Come on, y'all. Let's give God a little praise. Come on, drop some clapping emojis in the comment section like Irene did. That let me know y'all caught it. That let me know that you got it. That let me know that it's resonating today. Thank you, Rosemary. That's right. Some of you all I know personally, the storms that you're going through. Might be a storm raging around me, but it's not a storm within me. Every storm runs out of rain.